We all know that Georgia tight end Brock Bowers, the greatest college football tight end of all time, will be the first tight end selected in the 2024 NFL Draft. But where he will be drafted is up for debate. There were a couple of NFL draft experts on ESPN who broke this down earlier this week. One of them, Mel Kiper Jr., has Brock Bowers going number 5 overall to the the LA Chargers. With John Harbaugh over there on the West Coast. And then Field Yates, who I guess is this young, kind of up-and-coming draft expert on ESPN, he actually has Brock Bowers going number 16 overall to the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, there was a lot of debate, and I agreed wholeheartedly with Mel Kiper Jr., who said this about Brock Bowers. He said he's a guy who is phenomenal at catching the football. He's a matchup nightmare. I don't see anywhere in the draft where he falls to Seattle at 16. He can do it all. He was spectacular as a freshman. Nobody could match up with this guy. He's got 2 national championships. He's a fear factor player. I don't know what that means. I guess it relates to the show, Joe Rogan, Fear Factor, doing a lot of different stuff. But yeah, the dude's an animal. He's not a true tight end. He's a receiving entity. And he's exactly right there, because Field Yates goes on to say, well, I like him. I thought he might go to number 9 at the Bears, but from 19 to 15, I don't see where any team would draft Brock Bowers. They don't have a need for tight end. And then Mel Kiper comes in. He's like, dude, he's not a traditional tight end. This is a guy who can stretch the field vertically. He can help you in the screen game, the short passing game, the intermediate passing game, the jet sweeps, end arounds, hand the ball to the guy. This guy can do it all. And that's exactly what Brock Bowers did at Georgia. He made so many different plays in so many different ways. Whether you just want to get the ball to him, or they hand it off to him in the screen game, or just throw it to him. Let him do what he does best after the catch. He picks up yards after contact. He can outrun defenders. He can run through defenders, or you can chuck it deep to him. And we saw him make a lot of big-time plays down the field. He can Randy Moss a dude. I mean, if you really think about all the crazy plays he made, I remember 2 years ago at South Carolina where he catches that ball over the middle, bounces off 2 guys, outruns another guy. In his second game against UAB as a true freshman, taking off down the sideline. Again, he's made so many crazy catches against Kentucky 2 years ago. Dude was phenomenal. The way he just trucks guys, the way he shows up in big games and big moments against Auburn, just took over. I mean, just one-handed snag that didn't even count, was just one of several big-time catches down, late in the game. And of course, he takes off for a 25, 30-yarder, catch and run type. It was classic Brock Bowers, but he plays at a different speed, and he's got NFL level size, but in the right place, under the right coach and the right system, it doesn't have to be a select few. I mean, this guy should be able to succeed on any team, in any style of offense. It's up to the coaches to use his talent, because he is so different and he's so much more talented than I still think people give him credit for, which is crazy. I think the casual college football fan looks at Brock Bowers and said, yeah, that guy was a really good player. I don't think they realize how fast he is and how good his ball skills are, and the ability to make a play like he did against Ohio State on the sideline, just supermaning it. I mean, the guy, when the ball went his way, 99% of the time something good happens. I think I can count maybe 2 drops in his entire career, and both of them I think were somewhat contested catches that weren't easy. There was one in the end zone against Kentucky that I think hit his hands. It would have been a tough catch, but you see him almost play to perfection at times. And he was a special player. He's a top 5 Georgia Bulldog player. I think I was incredible. 2022, 2023 John Mackey Award. Probably should have won it as a freshman. He was the best tight end in college football for 3 years in a row. And again, Mel Kiper went on to say that, NFL teams should look at him as a pass catcher. Now let's go down the list. I think the earliest he could go is probably the Chargers. I think the top 3 are quarterbacks. The Cardinals are going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., I guess, if he's there. But the Chargers, Justin Herbert, new head coach coming in, he's going to fix that defense. But you give Justin Herbert another weapon and Brock Bowers, I don't care that they don't need a tight end. And that, again, that's what Mel said. The guy catches passes. You can line him up wherever. Georgia put him out wide. Georgia put him in the slot. Georgia played him as a traditional tight end sometimes. You move this guy anywhere, all over the field. You want to create a mismatch with him. You don't just want to use him as a tight end. he's a weapon. That's what he is. He's a weapon that can cut defenses in a lot of different ways. The Chargers should absolutely look at him. They could absolutely use him. So should the Giants. The Giants might pick a wide receiver. Maybe it's Malik Neighbors. Maybe it's the guy from Washington. But Brock Bowers would make an instant impact in New York, in Tennessee. I guess the cat from Kentucky, who I'm completely blanking on who they picked last year. He played well as a rookie last year. Will Levis. Will Levis could absolutely use a Brock Bowers, right? But they could go the offensive line route. They could go the receiver route. But this guy makes a lot of plays. The Falcons will ruin him. Hate to say it, but they can't even use Kyle Pitts the right way. So I think if there's one place that Brock Bowers is not going, dude's not going to Atlanta. They've got other weapons that they're not even using correctly. I would hate it for Brock Bowers if he went to Atlanta. The Bears can absolutely use Brock Bowers at that number 9 spot. Number 10, the Jets. Don't tell me the Jets are too good for Brock Bowers. He would make them better. He would also make the Vikings better, and the Broncos better, and the Raiders better, and the Saints better, and the Colts better. Anthony Richardson would love a guy like Brock Bowers. So mocking him at 16 to the Seattle Seahawks is crazy. It would be the steal of the draft and one of the biggest steals of all time if he makes it down to 16. Every single team would be better, including the Falcons, with Brock Bowers on the roster, but it doesn't mean they would use him correctly. I don't know how many teams would. They all should, and they should get the ball to him early and often. But he can help you in the run game, too. He is a physical blocker, and he that's a part of his game that I think goes underappreciated, or just people forget that he can do that. Everyone sees the great catches down the field. They see him running for touchdowns. In fact, you rush for a lot of them. Again, let's just remember what he did. 2021, 56 catches, 882 yards, 13 touchdowns. Touchdown against Michigan. Touchdown against Alabama in the national championship. When they needed a touchdown badly to go up 8, they threw it to Brock Bowers. He made it happen. 2022, 63 catches, 942 yards, just 7 touchdowns. He actually scored a lot more touchdowns as a freshman than he did as a sophomore and a junior last year. 56 catches, 714 yards, 6 touchdowns while missing 4 games. If he played in all 14 games, he would have gone over 1,000 yards, probably would have had double-digit touchdowns and close to 80 catches, maybe. And that's if they, again, threw it to him often. But tremendous player, one of the best players to ever play for Georgia. And I think the greatest college football tight end of all time. He's a top 10 talent. He's one of the top 5, probably a top 3 best player in this draft. Don't look at him as a tight end. All you NFL GMs watching who have been blowing up my phone about these dogs, I'm telling you right now, Brock Bowers is an absolute superstar. And if you've got a young quarterback, I know you want to, protect your investment, right? Get those offensive linemen in there to grow and, be with that quarterback for a long period of time. Get yourself a Brock Bowers. He is a game changer. He is a organizational changing type of player. And he's a 2-time national champion, was one of Georgia's best players from the start. He led the team in receiving in his very first game as a true freshman against Clemson, and got better from there. When he outran those Georgia Tech defensive backs his freshman year, just taking that slant and then just hightailing it up the field, running away from guys. You don't see that from traditional tight ends. You see it from some wide receivers, but this is a tight end weapon, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Just make sure he gets the football, because the dude is looking to score, and he's going to score a lot at the NFL, especially if, in the right position. And if he's going to a place that already has an established quarterback who can get him the ball, he's going to do big, big things at the NFL. One of the best players I've covered with my own eyeballs and seen, and, covered his recruitment, covered him all throughout his Georgia career, and I can't wait to see what he has in store in the NFL. He's a big-time player. I don't think he's going to go past the Seahawks. If you're the Bears at number 9 and he's there, I think you steal him. If you've got Caleb Williams already at number 1, I think the Titans would be pretty crazy to pass him up on him. But I'm not biased. The numbers are the numbers. He's been one of the best players in college football by a mile, and I think he's going to, have a very, very good career in the NFL. Where will he go? Let me know in the comment section below. You can also join the conversation over on Dawg Post. You can Sign up to our free newsletter. That link is down below. You can read all the stories we have over on the website. If you've been enjoying these videos, we really appreciate it. But we want to see you over on the website. You can head on over there by signing to our free newsletter. Again, that link is down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you on the website.